All right, good afternoon. This is a video that I'm going to make for my class, Political Science 1113. And the main things that I want to talk is about immigration, U.S. immigration. We're going to cover different topics today. And I am actually streaming live. So if somebody wants to view, they're welcome to. And we're gonna do at the end we're gonna do questions and answers. It's like an interview that I want to perform with some of my friends on thoughts about illegal immigration. All right, so my name is Javier Cacao. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video, and we're going to start. All right, so let me go ahead and work my way out here. This is my first time doing this type of service for a class, so please bear with me. Okay, so I'm going to have to go back here in my presentation, because this is a PowerPoint that has been downloaded to my Macintosh, so imagine it's a little bit different. So okay, so here's my presentation. This is a video about US immigration, and my instructor is Dr. Jennifer Smith. She's a PhD, and she works at the Oklahoma State University, and we are going to start. So what causes people to immigrate? Let's see. There are different let's see, 1 second. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me see. All right, cause let me go ahead and just minimize this a little bit so that way you guys can still see me. Sorry about that. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so sorry about that. I had to minimize this window. Okay, so what causes people to immigrate? That's one of the first sections that I wanted to discuss. It's good to know about the concept of migration. What's migration? Migration is the movement of people from one place to another. I am myself an immigrant. I am from Ecuador. I was born and raised there, and I immigrated to the United States in 2010. All right, and in my case, I'm married to a U.S. citizen. That's the reason why we decided we were living in Ecuador and then decided to move it to the U.S. Okay, so that's a little bit of my background here. Okay, so but the main reasons that people do are economic, social, political, or environmental. As the slide say, this is one of the things that different reasons that people decide to come to different countries. It could be the U.S., it could be the European Union, it could be anywhere. So there are basically push and pull factors that happen here. So the different type of migration are internal and international migration. So let me tell you about something. Internal migration is basically when, say, people that live in Tennessee move to Florida, or people that live in Florida move to Washington State. That could be considered internal migration. And actually, in the case of my country, Ecuador, there's had been in the 90s internal migration from people that are living in the coast, in the other provinces. They came to my city in big masses. Okay, so that will be considered internal migration. Now international migration is completely different, because that's the case of people going from one country to another country in search for better opportunities. All right, so in migration terms, we have immigration, when somebody leaves the country, like say, people that say newspapers, they want to talk about this situation. They talk about emigration, people that leave their country to another country. All right, and immigration is when somebody enters the country. So that's the most common term that you'll see in the news here, because a lot of people immigrate to the US. All right. So let's see. Let me hit a click here. All right. Let's see. Okay. So why do people migrate? So as we said before, people migrate for different reasons: economic, social, political, or environmental, right? So economics, in the case of people that come here from different countries that are considered developing countries. And then social could be people that, social and political could be tied together, because that's the case of, in case of people can want to come here fleeing situations, like in the case of Cuban refugees and the Castro regime, you know, those are situations, or the Syrian refugees that we had recently. That's another case that they are fleeing the situation in the Middle East, a very difficult situation. So those are the political. Those usually they ask for political asylum, you know. And these, I remember also the case of the Baha'i people. The Baha'i is a religion in Iran, so that's another case where people there were being persecuted in Iran because of their religion beliefs. That's another reason. I believe could lead to other people to perform persecution. So that's a one different. Well, it's similar and different subject. So environmental, that could be the case of somebody that, I mean, some people that are fleeing due to, like in the Chernobyl the disaster in Chernobyl in Russia during the 80s. That could be an environmental situation where people had to leave that area, so that way they don't get poisoned by the radiation. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. So we talk about the push and pull factors. So as you see, look, in this, I like this this image because it shows you the different push factors and the pull factors, and these are tied together. So unemployment, there's a potential for employment. That's the reason why people are looking for jobs. There are no jobs sometimes in the developing countries. Lack of services and amenities. That's people looking for better service provision. Poor safety and security, and people are looking for a safer atmosphere. And you'll see all these other reasons. And I will attach this PowerPoint presentation to a file, so that way you'll be able to see. So these are all these different situations. Look, war. Recently we have a lot of wars around the world. So these people have to leave this area, and they're looking for political security, and there's no quality of life during war. So people have to search for quality of life for their family. All right. So I created this timeline in the case of U.S. immigration history. This timeline shows basically the group of people that have come in large, the top amount of people. Say in this case, look, from the 1800s in this area, area and time, from the 1880s, Italians were the ones that came. That top the numbers by 4.5 million that came from 1880 to 1930, and then Germans came in they top the numbers. So a lot of Germans came immigrated here, and look, 940,000 Germans that came here during the 1930s. And then you see Germans dominated the numbers up until 1965, and from 1965 the Mexican people have topped, and look at the numbers, 4.3 millions that have come here to the United States, and that has continued. This trend has continued up until the 2000s. So you see this timeline It's you see how different people have dominated as far as migration numbers. All right. So this is an interesting case. The Cuban immigration during the from the 60s and up until the 80s and 90s and even the 2000s. So in this case, if you heard this terminology, it's called the wet feet, dry feet. And this started in November 2nd of 1966 by President Johnson. And what happened also is that it peaked in the 80s. So President Castro from Cuba, or the former president from Cuba, Mr. Castro, he opened the Mariel port so people can leave the country. And that created also a situation because he intended criminals to leave the islands. That's why during the 80s, South Florida, specifically Miami, they suffered a lot of crime related activities because of this situation. So, but the main function for this this special provision was that anyone fleeing the Castro regime can become a legalized alien. So say somebody left Cuba and come to the U.S. If they touch the U.S. Soil, then they'll gain the U.S. residency. So that's why it's called wet feet, dry feet. So so as I said before, most Cubans they made South Florida their new home, and this provision ended under President Obama administration. All right. So we're gonna discuss a little bit about the social implications of illegal immigration. This is in the case of illegal immigration. All right. So what's the definition? So it's defined as a foreign-born non-citizen who are not legal residents. Okay. So this is a person that had come here illegally, crossing the border without any permission whatsoever. So this is the same definition. Pretty much, it will tell you that the proper term. It is the most authorized residents were either entered the United States without inspection or were admitted temporarily and stay past the date. So that's another situation where people had a visitor visa, and then probably the F1 or F1 is a student visa, or J1 could be also another category, or the just a visitor, the tourist visa, and they stay here past that time that they were allowed to be here, and then they don't leave. They stay here permanently. So that's another situation, and they become therefore illegal aliens. So there are many different opinions and views about this situation, and I saw tons of and during this research, while doing this research, I saw tons of opinions, arguments that go pro illegal immigration, and cons for as far as illegal immigration. So in my personal view, this is my personal view. So my views are that the pros. What are the pros? Illegal immigration favors the economy on agricultural, blue-collar jobs. So a lot of people that come here illegally, most of them perform agricultural or jobs in construction. Some jobs that even the United States citizens they don't want to do anymore. So that's the case, and they fill these vacancies by performing these jobs. Now to me, if I wanna relate this situation, the cons will be that it hurts the economy on white collar jobs. So if the numbers are too excessive, like if people that are here they're illegal, but then they have a high amount of knowledge, then the situation will be that they will take away the jobs that U.S. citizens want. Okay, so say a doctor or an engineer. So in that situation, then yes, there's going to be a discontent. Okay, so another pros would be that I'm sorry, that from the individual standpoint of view, the legal immigration allows the foreign immigrant to access jobs and salaries that are not found in their countries, and that's true. So sometimes and I see it in Ecuador, even in my country, Ecuador. I've seen it that there are not many jobs. There are actually sometimes there are not even jobs for positions that people apply to. So that's why some people are obligated to emigrate to other countries, so that way they can provide for their families. So, but the cons is that coming to the U.S. illegally is risky. And it's because sorry for the typo here, but it's coming here is risky, and the laws are getting harder on illegal immigration. So even for if you got to pass a border and come here illegally, then it's gonna be risky to stay. So regardless, you can be you won't have. Some states don't allow you to have driver license. Some states they allow people to have driver license, which is good. But if you live in a state that where you cannot drive, it's gonna be hard, and eventually you're gonna be driving, and the police is gonna stop you, and then you're gonna be facing jail time because you got no license, and then you are illegal to be in the United States. So that's the cons here. Now as far as family, this type of immigration allows foreign families to enjoy a higher standard of life and opportunities that are non-existent in their countries of origin. So that happens when the whole family come here illegally. Mom, dad, children, everybody come here. But and they're going to enjoy the quality of life because it's superior here in many aspects, such as healthcare, and then schools, and low crime, and that other situations that they face in their country. So, but the cons, here's the cons. The risk of deportation poses a huge emotional and financial threat to foreign families. So, and therefore, there's gonna be a family separation in case somebody like dad or mom gets deported. So that's gonna be a huge emotional and financial, because they won't have the support, this financial support, and plus it's gonna be hard for the children not to see their parents, and for the wife not to see the husband, and vice versa. So these are my six personal views on this subject of illegal immigration. All right. So let's talk about myth versus reality about illegal aliens. So are all illegal immigrants from Mexico? So here's the key: all. Most people think that they're all from Mexico, but no. Look at this. Even in my country, Ecuador, there are 2% of people that come here illegally, and mostly they go to New York. So actually, yes, because in New York you'll see in Queens, New York, there's a lot of Ecuadorians that can have come here illegally, and you see a lot of Ecuadorian stores and other things. So yes, 59% according to this pie chart, 59% of people come from Mexico, but then look at this other 15% from other countries. And then I see all these numbers: 2% from Ecuador, China. They come from China, Korea, India. Look, India, Philippines. They come from other countries, and some of the Central American countries. I have met people that are here that come illegally. So 3%, 5%, 6%, or at least I think they are. So 1% from Vietnam, the people that from Vietnam come here illegally. So look at this. All right, let's go ahead and click next. So about the immigration law, there's been different provisions during this, even from the 1790, there's been a provision. Look at this, the Naturalization Act of 1790. And that requirement back then was to live in the U.S. for 2 years and in the state for 1 year. So those were, some of them are in pro, some of them are cons as far as immigration, like the Chinese exclusion law, the Chinese exclusion law of 1882, which banned Chinese people to come during this time to the U.S. So the 1906 English language requirement, that's another impediment for to become a U.S. citizen. All right, so you have exclusions. You have a quota system, which is well, in the case of this quota system of 1924, that was to reduce the number of people that could become citizens, and according to the also to the country of origin too. So, and this is this. Look at this one. This is the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952, which is based on origin, and in this case, skilled work. So around this time, you start seeing this this requirement. So whether you're skilled or not, then they're going to you're going to be able to become a citizen or have legal residence. Well, in that time. So this act here is almost like this one, but it's basically I was reading that it has this Immigration and Nationalization Act of 1965. It was just a tweak of they tweaked a few things on this one, and then you got the Refugee Act of 1980, which allow people to come here in case of political persecution or belief persecution. So in this one, the IRCA of 1986 legalized this one, allow aliens, legalize certain aliens that enter in 1982. So if you enter in 1982, then in 1996 you could become a legal alien. But in the other hand, it prohibited employers to hire illegal aliens. So and also this act created a classification for temporary agricultural workers, which is still on today. So then you have the Homeland Security Act of 2002. This is a result of the Twin Towers, the September 11, the Twin Towers incident. Okay, so that's why they created this act under President Bush. And then the Secure Fence Act of 2006, which is is created by the Trump administration, and then I think this one of the situations that they want to do is to create a border, a tall wall, so that way no people can come in. All right, so let's see if that works. So, well, later on, I wanted to discuss about DACA, which I see that there was some. It was gonna be a provision under the Obama administration, but then it was ended by Trump. So this basically this particular act helped minors that were brought here by their parents, and they grew up here. They have friends here. They went to school here. The United States was their home, and this is pretty much a deferred action for childhood arrival. So that's what it stands for. So it protected somehow these children that came here with their parents. So sometimes it wasn't even their option. They say, hey, we gotta go. So it wasn't even. Sometimes it wasn't even their option to come here. So pretty much this help allow minors from parents who came here illegally to avoid deportation. That's what we just said, and I just said. And also the basically this didn't allow these children to become a lawful residents, but it helped them in case of persecution. So to pretty much defer the immediate removal. Okay. So, and this is pretty much the end of part one. Let me see if there's something else. Hold on one second. Okay, so yes, there's one more. All right, actually a couple of more slides, so bear with me. So the potential solutions on illegal immigration that I see, because remember, the DACA is no longer available, so and it didn't protect everyone. So, but to me, the potential solutions is pretty much information and to know. Sometimes you have a skill that you're not that you're aware that you have a skill, and then some worker like the company owner could use your skill. Okay, so that could happen, and there are different programs here that you can see on the immigration website. If you go there, you see, look at this one, H1B visa program. So this is this allow companies in the U.S. to employ foreigners, and as we said before, that the ones that have highly specialized occupations such as science, IT, or engineering. So some people say, in this case of the DACA students, the dreamers, those sometimes they go to this, they take this type of career field, so they could apply to this H1B visa program. Okay, so there's also the EB3. This is something that I researched, I didn't know about. So this is employment based. It's a third preference EB3. That's what this 3 stands for, and pretty much this program has different categories. So you have skilled worker, professional, or other workers. So a skilled worker is very similar to this program, but the difference is that, and I just found out about this. This program is temporary. This program here is for permanent full-time job offer. So you have to have a labor certification and a full-time job offer, and you have to have 2 years job experience, and you have to perform work that isn't available in the U.S. So this type of work, this is very important. So basically, what it means is that if you're working for a company and the company cannot find any other job applicant to fulfill the vacancy, and you are the only one, then they'll be able to petition a visa for you, a work visa for you, this EB3 program. So in that case, you can apply to this EB3 visa program, and then let's talk about the professionals. This is another category. This is second category, professional. So these are the ones that earn a U.S. degree at the university. Okay, so or you can have a foreign degree that is equivalent to that degree here in the U.S. Okay, so say you study for computer science. So, and it can be named, sometimes it's named differently in different languages, but it has to be equivalent to to a degree here, a computer science degree. So it has to be relevant to the occupation, to the job, to the vacancy that you are applying to, or to the job that you have been performing for the company. So it has to be relevant. So if you earn a computer science degree and you're working as a programmer or a software developer, then yes, you'll be able to apply for this EB3 employment. Actually, you are not going to be able to apply. It's your boss or that will be able to start this process for you. Okay, so sorry about that. All right. So there's another the last one. Remember where is it? Yeah, the other workers. So again, so those are unskilled workers. Okay, so it's not like engineering. It's not like science or anything like that. So it has to be. It's gonna be something like agricultural or something like construction work. So you have to have a labor certification and a full-time job offer in order to apply for this visa program. Okay, so again, this one is similar in the case of that it doesn't have to be, the position cannot be temporary, just to mention this, or seasonal, but also it's similar in the case of the last one, that you have to be, no worker is going to be competent enough to perform the job that you're performing. So that way your boss can see this and petition, start start petitioning documentation in order to process it, everything, and that way you can become you can have this visa in order to have this job, so, and become legal, by the way. So this is a skilled worker, and you have to be able to, of course, perform the labor, the unskilled labor, and you have to have less than 2 years training or experience. So this is the last category, and I'm gonna show you also these temporary worker programs. So these are temporary worker visa programs. So you see there's plenty, and some of them that I knew before is the ones that apply to actors, to performers. Those are the ones that I knew about. I think it was around here. This P3, look at this, artists or entertainers. So that's some of them. Some of them are religious, for religious workers. So this is the case of R1, and sometimes I understand that you can move to become a permanent full-time worker. Okay, so I think you can transfer to become from temporary to permanent, and you can change your category. And I didn't know the H1 was the H1B, as I mentioned before. I didn't know it was temporary. So you have different categories: H1B1, H1B2, H1B3. All right. So these are they have plenty of categories. So you just have to log and go to the USCIS.gov website, and you'll be able to see all these different programs and different information, a lot of information about these different programs. Okay. So anyway, and after this, I'm going to have some guests. All right. So some of my friends, and I'm going to start an interview with some of them. Okay. So these are the 3 questions that I'm going to ask. The question number 1: what are your thoughts on illegal immigration? Question number 2: should the Trump administration grant legal status to certain undocumented people? And then if you answer yes, why? If you answer no, why? And question number 3: do you approve the recent mass deportation initiatives? And then yes, why? No, why? And this is something that has been happening recently, especially in my area, in Georgia. These deportations that happened. Actually, a friend of mine, he was taken to custody because of he didn't have the documents. So, but anyway, so this situation happened, and his family was concerned, and really this he's such a great guy. He's a great person. But he had to face this situation. As I said before, it's risky. It's super risky to come here illegally. But anyway, so these are the 3 questions, and this is going to be in a second video. As soon as I end this, I'm gonna go ahead and set up for a second video, and to have my guest call, so that way we can talk about this. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.